there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have a watercolor tutorial. It's about time, don't you think? I think so. We're going to use watercolors and we're going to sketch on with a watercolor pencil. And this flower, I believe, is called a Bromeliad, and it is a special request to my viewer, Lavon. She sent me a lovely note the other day, and I was just so touched. And then she asked me if I would paint this for her, and I said sure, why not? I wanted to get a bunch of watercolor tutorials kind of planned, so we'll start off with this one. I'm actually gonna ask her if I can share her photo on my blog, so hopefully she'll agree to that. She took this this picture in her front yard. I'm starting with this leaf that's in front. It almost looks like the edge of like a Jack in the Pulpit. And then I'm gonna switch over to this pink pencil really quick because the petals kind of come out, and this is a flower from Florida, which is kind of fun since, you know, we don't have flowers like this up here in Maine. In fact, right now we pretty much just have leaves. Beautiful leaves. They're starting to fall. Some have fallen. We have oak trees that are a little miserable because they won't fall until the snow actually hits. So then we've got to deal with that. So I've got this kind of spiky part in the middle, which I will be adding other colors. You know, I bet I could almost just do this in watercolor pencil. So, you know, use what you have. If you just have watercolor pencils, you can do the whole thing in that. If you want to use paints, you can do the paints too. If you want to sketch on with your regular pencils, you can do that. You don't have to use watercolor pencils. I like it because it takes the lines away once I go and add the water. So I will have to ask Lavon if I can share this photo on my website so that you guys can check that out. So I apologize. Oh, it makes me so sad when I don't have any painting tutorials up. And last week was a little hectic and crazy, and I didn't get a watercolor painting tutorial up. I did get caught up on a lot of things, and I had on some other things. So that made me happy. But I was like, oh, my poor peeps, my poor painting peeps, have no paintings. They have no paintings from me this week. But hopefully that won't happen again. And I'm just gonna put one more little kind of it's like they have really thick leaves, and it looks like they just kind of come out of the ground like that. All right, so I've got a basic sketch in, and I think what I'm gonna do first, I've got a couple brushes. I think I'm just gonna use my 1/2" angular brush, my Taklon, and this number 6 round Lowell Cornell, and this is a comfort grip, and it's comfortable if you have fatigue. Oh, I don't know if you can hear one of my cats meowing. If you have any fatigue when you're working, it is a nice balanced handle. It's actually a toll painting brush, but I really love how it has a nice sharp point, and I've always used it for watercolor, so it's held up really well. So something to consider. There's so many good brushes out there. I think a lot of the toll painting brushes are excellent because you have to be so precise when you're doing toll painting. That's why I think it's such a wonderful discipline, even though some people say, well, I just toll paint, I trace a pattern. So what? You know what? There's so much skill that goes into the actual painting. Nothing to be to downplay at all. All right, so I just wet the inside of this blade, this leaf here, and I'm gonna slide my palette over so you can see. Since I am working on a card and using a small paint palette, I think I can show you all my tricks here. I'm gonna grab some of this green. It's a hooker's green. You can use sap green if that's what you have. I'm using my Yarkers. I don't have sap green in that color, so either one's gonna be fine. And I'm gonna put this color in my more shadowed color, my shadowed area. And if you can always mix to get the colors that you want. Sometimes I think it's a little fun to use different pigments just because it breaks you out of your comfort zone. I say I have 6 colors that I use over and over again, so it's nice when I grab a palette that has different colors. Now I think I will grab some lemon yellow, add to that, and add that into my leaf. And I am working on a greeting card, so I just don't want to go over that edge too much and have it spill onto the inside of my card, so I'm just being mindful of that. Take some of that color over here. And I love how my watercolor pencil lines just kind of fade away when I do that. Now in this photograph, this is kind of funny because the overturned part here is actually darker. So I'm going to paint this part light. So my cat is down here. She's very irritated with me at the moment because not only did I just take a tick off of her, I wouldn't let her back outside. So she's like, that's insult to injury. But that cat has had 3 ticks in the last 24 hours. And I flea and tick treat all the animals. My dog, I've switched her over to the pills instead of the drops, because then, you know, she's a golden retriever. Of course, she likes to swim and stuff. So I want to, you know, keep her, not have to worry if she gets wet that she's going to wash away all of the medicine. And but they don't offer that for cats, or not in our country anyway. It might be in other countries, but they don't offer it for cats here, or my vet doesn't recommend it. So we have the drops for the cats, and one cat's fine, doesn't bring in any ticks, and the long-haired one is like, I don't know where she finds them. I think she has a larger territory than the other cat. I think she wanders when she goes out, and I think she gets them you know, at the neighbors. I mean, because we have chickens and everything, so I mean, I don't see ticks on the dog, I don't see ticks on the other cat. I think the chickens are policing our yard pretty well, but I think old Tally likes to travel, so she's not very happy with me right now. And that little tick did not want to let go. I hope I got it all out. I put peroxide on the bite afterwards, but I've just switched to a different brand. I don't know if the ticks are becoming resistant to the Vectra up here, but our vets had us all switch from Frontline to Vectra because the fleas and ticks were getting immune to it. So geez, you know, I don't know what to do. Start putting tea tree oil on the poor animals, but then you never know with a cat, you know, they're so sensitive. You don't want them to get sick. You have to be so careful with what you do for a cat. I don't know if you guys have any good recommendations for the flea and tick, mostly tick prevention. If you're using a brand that's not Vectra, you've had good luck with, let me know. Although, I mean, who knows, maybe I got like a bad batch or something, but I think I took both treatment things out of the same package for both the cats. I don't know. So I'm basically just skipping around as I fill in, because see there how the color bled? I don't really want that to happen. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it, but I just kind of want to avoid that if I can. So I'm just doing a section at a time. You can also tape your paper down. If I'm doing a little card like this, I just clip it, but that's up to you. It is kind of fun when you peel off that tape, if you've done a nice border and you peel off that tape and you have that pretty reveal. That's always nice to look at too. So whatever you want to do. I tend to do whatever's easiest, honestly. Now on this one, I think I want the color a little bit darker. I think I'm just going to go right in on the wet paper. So I'm going to go right behind here. I typically wouldn't have my palette this close because I'd lay my hand on the table. It'd be a little more comfortable, but I just wanted you to be able to see my colors. So if I look a little awkward here, I apologize. And I also apologize if you can hear my space heater because it is getting a little chilly. I usually work down in my basement studio until all the time until about after Christmas, and then I'll move upstairs to the office. I set it up last year, and I have a treadmill in the office. So I start the day in the office because I'm on the treadmill, and but I think I'm going to move the treadmill down here because we're cleaning out a place for a gym downstairs. Actually, we used to have a gym there before kids, and you know how that happens, things change. But we're going to try to get it back up and running because I honestly believe that, you know, people ask me, how do you have so much energy, Lindsay? And I think it's my diet, exercise, and sleep. I get a lot of sleep, I eat healthy, and I exercise daily. And for quite a while it was just walking the dog, but then as, you know, middle age is creeping up, I have realized that that's just not cutting it anymore. So I've got to get on the treadmill so I can get my cardiovascular exercise. And there's a cool shadow here that I really want to get, so I want to kind of paint that in there. And some people can't, you know, they can't stand to walk on the treadmill, but you know what I do? I just catch up on my YouTube videos. I go through my subscriptions and I catch up on those, and I figured, well, it's a pretty good thing because I look forward to watching the videos. And luckily my phone, I watch them on my phone, and my phone has good voice recognition software, so when I want to comment on somebody's video, I can just kind of speak into the phone. Can't do that at the gym. People would think you were, you know, lost your mind, so that's a Another benefit of the home workouts. And I'm just going to paint right up to the edge. I'll let it blend a little bit. I'm not worried about that. There. Okay, now I'm just going to look and see where else I can go here to paint where it's not going to get to. I think I can do this. That's a little damp. I think I can get in there though. I think I want this a little bit more yellow. I'm just going to rinse my brush and go right into that lemon yellow. I like this. I think it might be a cad yellow light. It's a super, super bright lemony color in the Yarka palette. And I do believe I can get the individual pans as well, but I tend to just refill from my tube colors when I need to, personally. But you can do either. Get that lighter turn of the petal there. Hope you had a good weekend. You had a busy weekend. My son turned 13. Holy cow, I have a teenager. That's one of the reasons I was a little busy last week, getting ready for that and redoing his room. That was a really fun project. And I did take video of the process. I didn't get his reaction though. He actually got to the room before I did, so. But I don't think he would have been as keen on being filmed either, so that's alright. But that's a little crazy, having a teenager. Being middle-aged and having a teenager. When the heck did that happen? I don't know. And I'm just gonna pull this color down here. I like what these colors are doing. I like the little bits of blends that I'm getting. Alright. Now I'm going to have to let this dry before I do anything, a little clumpy there, before I do anything else. So we're going to let this dry and we'll be back to get the flower petals painted. I just realized I've only used this brush. I guess we're going to do this all with this one brush because I don't think I'm going to need that one for anything. Isn't that cool? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into that lemon yellow that we've been using the whole time anyway, and I'm going to go in and add, like on the tips, and even ones that I haven't drawn because I didn't draw every single one in. I just needed to get an idea. I'm going to add some little, kind of little tufts of that yellow color. And then I'm going to go in with this pink, it's like a rose color. It's this one right here. You can use crimson, permanent rose, quinacridone, magenta, whatever you have. You want a cool red, okay? Or pinky. Probably use opera. That's going to be a little bit lighter, I think. But you basically want that cool color, a cool red, and we've got that cool yellow. So at the most, it's going to make kind of like a peachy color when they mix. And I'm just going to start by going in here. I'm working on the top petals first, and I'm just going to flick up. And look how I'm using my brush. I'm like on the tip of it. I'm up straight up and down, which means my hand's probably in the way and you can't see anything, which I do apologize for. I hate it when I do that, but it's that technique. It's getting that brush at a very sharp angle, like close to a 90-degree angle from the paper, that allows you to have that control and allows you to work on the tip of the brush. And unfortunately, I don't know a better way to film this. You can see it better without having everything all out of skew, out of sorts. So I'm trying to I'm tipping my hand over so you can see what I'm doing, but really I want you to be using it like that, like you're doing calligraphy or something, okay? And I can even put a few little comma strokes, which are like when you push the brush and you pull it back. That's also a decorative painting technique, but that really does give you that shape that you're looking for. And I'm just gonna smooth out the edges of some of those more defined petals just by kind of painting in there. And I can add a teeny bit of shadow. Let's see, I could actually just use that green. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little of that red over there and grab a little bit of that green, and that should make, I don't think it'll make too much brown. I think it's all right. And I can add a little bit of that into here. I don't want it too brown. I mean, you could use blue, but I haven't used blue yet, so I thought, well, maybe we'll just stick with these three colors. That'll be a fun little exercise, won't it? All right. Now I'm also going to do this part right here since I can. And I want to make that a little bit, I'm actually going to paint it with water first because I want to have the reflection, because like the leaves are a little glossy, so they would reflect the pink flowers. Okay, I think I went out a little bit, but hopefully it's all right. And I'm gonna paint the green in first along this bottom edge. I'm blotting my brush off. I really don't want a lot of water on there. And then I'm going to do a little bit of pink at the edge, the top edge, so it can you're kind of getting that reflection. Those shiny glossy leaves. Because that surface is mimicking that. Okay, and then don't blend it, just leave it alone, let it do its thing. Maybe just make sure that you've covered the area, but don't go in and fuss with it too much. I say as I'm fussing with it too much. And then I wanted a little bit of kind of dirt color down here to ground it, so I'm going to mix the three colors I've been using together. So I'm going to do that green, some of that red, and a little bit of that yellow to make a nice, nice brown. And we'll see when I add the yellow, that's really what's going to brown it up. So three colors, look at that, we got some brown. I'm just going to kind of dab in some, I just feel like I need a grounding element here. I don't need a bunch, I just want to get something to kind of, and then do some of the, just the red and the green together for a darker brown and add that in there too. Three colors, pretty impressive, huh? It's because when you get into the artist colors, when you're using artist colors, they're much stronger. They're not made by mixing, even though you can mix very similar colors. They're made because of the pigments that are used to manufacture them. So that's why you still have very vivid colors, even though they look like they're mixed. They're actually a pigment, usually a single pigment if you're lucky, and that's why they look so fresh. You know, that's why they don't really turn into mud as soon as you grab them. And there's that. All right, I'm gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna come back and finish it up. On second thought, I'm gonna have you use the angled brush. I want you to wet it, and then I want you to pinch off the extra water, and I want you to get into that green on the edge there. And then, watch this, you can add some really cool shadows and kind of break some of these leaves out away from the background this way. I just think it's a really great technique to kind of softly add some shadows. This is side loading. And you can go in and kind of break them apart like that. It's just a great technique and very easily obtained with this type of brush. All right, so let's get in and finish up these little petals here. We're going to just wet them with clear water and the round brush. And feel free to practice with that side loading technique as much as you want. Okay, and I am just going to add a little of this red color along an edge and just let it blend, because these are really pale. These leaves are pretty pale, and I am just going to go around and I'm going to wet each one, but I'm going to leave just a little bit of a gap between colors. And I mean, if some just spreads around, it's not the end of the world. For a nice soft look here, and then we are going to be done. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Lavon, I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you're having an amazing day, and thank you so much for sharing your photo with us so that we could paint it together. That was three colors. We used hooker's green, lemon yellow, and I'm going to say it's probably quinacridone magenta, but you can use any of your cool reds. Have fun, mix your colors, learn how to use your colors, and paint something every day. I think it's really important to get creative every day. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and share this video on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're, probably not Instagram, I don't think you can do that, but you can tweet it. Twitter it at your friends, and we can all paint together and it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.